500, 500, 550, $550,000. Do we have a match? A new team comes in. $600,000. Going once. $600,000 twice. One final time for $600,000. Sold. Well, there may be plenty of cricket happening all around the globe, but on the 19th of December, it's probably safe to say that cricket's attention will move to India, to Calcutta, as we gear up to the much anticipated player auction of the biggest festival in the game of cricket. The 13th edition of the Indian Premier League, 332 players go under the hammer, 207 crores to be spent, only 73 spots up for grabs. So many questions and comments coming in about the auction process. So here are 8 things that you need to be knowing about the IPL player auction. Alright, we'll start with the basics. Point number 1, the size of the team. Keep in mind that every single team must have a minimum of 18 players and a maximum of 25 in their respective squads. And as far as the foreign players goes, you can have a limit of 8 foreign players. What does that look like for the Royal Challengers? We've retained 13 members, which means we have space for 12 more players. And as far as the foreigners go, we have Superman ABD and Moeen Ali, which means we still have space for 6 more foreign slots. Alright, point number 2, the all-important one, the purse, the money involved. It's all about the money in the IPL. Keep in mind that the teams will have a maximum of 85 crores to be spent. This is a 3 crore increment to the 82 crores that they had allotted in the 2019 edition. An important point to note is that teams will have to spend a minimum of 75% of their wallet, which means a minimum spend of 63.75 crores and a maximum of 85 crores. What does that look like as we head into the all-important auction? Well, teams on complete opposite side of the spectrum, in fact, Kings 11 Punjab with over 42 crores to spare, they're on one side. Defending champions, former champions, the Mumbai Indians and the Super Kings on the other side of the spectrum with 13 and 14 crores to spare, with the Royal Challengers right in the center with about 28 crores. Hopefully, that's good enough to get us what we're looking for. Point number 3, a very important one, the auction process. Keep in mind that the players will be presented in sets of 5 to 14 players each. These sets are categorized on the basis of their specialization: batsmen, all-rounders, wicket-keepers, fast bowlers and spinners. The order of the player names coming up in the auction, as always, will be determined by a random draw that will take place in the auction room. Remember, every franchise will only have one designated bidder holding the paddle to indicate their bid for a particular player, and bids once finalized cannot be withdrawn. Point number 4, accelerated process. What does that mean? Out of the 332 players, keep in mind that only 160 players will be called upon in the regular auction process in the categories that I mentioned before. Players 161 to 332 will happen via an accelerated process where only the names of those players will be called on where teams have shown interest for. Remember, not all names will come up from players 161 to 332. The teams that have shown interest for particular players, only their names will be called on. Point number 5, unsold players. What happens if a player goes unsold? If a player does not receive an opening bid, his name can come up later in the auction process upon insistence from any of the teams. So should the teams understand that they don't have the right combination and a name that came up earlier in the day could fit their bill, they certainly can request for that name to come up again. Point number 6, the famous right to match card. Keep in mind that the right to match card was an option that was available to franchises in the 2018 edition of the IPL, where franchises were allowed to buy back former players by using the RTM card at the highest bid price. But as we gear up for the 2020 edition, remember that there are no right to match cards and the player will go to the franchise with the highest bid. Point number 7, bid increments. Keep in mind that the increments will vary as we move through the different brackets of the bids. Here is a very quick breakdown. Bids up to 1 crore, increments will happen 5 lakhs each. So if a player is currently at 50 lakhs, his next increment will be 55 lakhs, 60 lakhs, so on and so forth. Bids in the range of 1 crore to 2 crores, increments will be 10 lakhs each. Bids in the range of 2 crores to 3 crores, increments will now happen at 20 lakhs each. and bids above 3 crores, and we're likely to see some of the big names in that bucket. Increments will happen at a minimum of 20 lakhs, but it's also left up to the discretion of the auctioneer, so we might just see increments of 50 lakhs each as well. And point number 8, our final point, who else but the auctioneer? Huge Edmundis is going to be the man holding the hammer on the big day. Remember, Huge is just the second auctioneer to have the privilege of hosting one of the biggest auctions in the world of sport. Hope you guys found this useful. Let us know what you think. Leave your comments and suggestions like you always do. But before we sign out, how about this for some trivia and some inspiration? Any guesses as to who the youngest player in the upcoming IPL auction is? Well, say hello to Afghanistan's Noor Ahmed, just 14 years of age, likely to turn 15 in about 15 days, and he finds himself in the auction of the biggest cricket event on the planet. How about that for some inspiration? You're watching RCB 12th Man TV, and we'll be back for more.